Hey guys, welcome back to the Snapper Chronicles. We're coming back at you with another Ratchet video. And today we're gonna take a look at this Williams Ratchet. And this is more of a modern Williams roundhead as opposed to some of the older Williams roundheads that we've examined before. But before we jump into it, if you can do me a big favor and hit the like button and also hit that subscribe button if you find any of these videos at all helpful or possibly entertaining. Okay, so here's this Williams. I've been wanting to do this for a while, this video on this particular Williams. This is a B52A USA, and these fall under the umbrella of Snap-on. Snap-on owns Williams now, and this is the 3/8 model. It looks kind of similar to older Williams B52s from the past. Kind of the shape here and the switch kind of reminds me of this older Williams B52, the Super Ratchet, and it had the ring that held the mechanism in place, and it had this threaded ring around the mechanism. And usually sometimes a lot of times you get an older one of these and it would be very difficult to remove this ring for obvious reasons. Rust, dirt, old hard grease will be in there, so it would be always a challenge a lot of times to take these apart. But this is a look at the older one, and kind of an in-between one. This is a Super Ratchet, but this was already when Snap-on had already come into the picture, so we see that these look a little bit different. These two here, this beam is somewhat different from that beam here. The mechanisms are pretty close, pretty identical, but this one you can see the the differences already, kind of the changeover and the differences of these ratchets. See the beam here as opposed to I like this one better, looks more sleeker. But let's put that one aside for a second and let's look at these two. These two, the beams are almost identical here. You see this kind of a beam with like a raised edge here. So these already, you can see, are very similar in appearance. The difference here is that, well, we'll put a date on this. This has the Snap-on date of 1997, and this has the Snap-on date of 2002. So around 5 years apart. And sadly, they got rid of this design, which is the double pawl design. You can hear the double click there, kind of the two pawls, like seesawing and giving you more positions than you would usually have on a single pawl ratchet. And then they kind of wanted to remain similar looking, but they went to this design, and we're gonna see what this design is in a minute. But let's take a look at the outside. Looks pretty good. Chrome looks okay. Pretty fine tooth, this mechanism. Let's open it up and see what's inside. It's a 764 hex key. And here is the bolt. And you see like something here, like a button. It's not a button. We're gonna go into that when I open this up. Okay. Okay, what we have here is a Facom designed Ratchet, and this is what the new roundheads are for Williams. Like I said, no more of those double pawls over there. Now the roundheads have this Facom design, and from what I've heard and I've seen, these switches are very brittle for some reason, and they kind of fall apart. I've seen them like pieces missing on some of them, older ones, and apparently here someone did a kind of clever fix where they put a bolt through this one, because for some reason the little protrusion that guides the heart spring for switching broke off. And I hear that happens, I don't know if a lot, but it's pretty not uncommon for something like that to happen. And I've seen, there's one other person who has a video on one of these on YouTube. I don't know the name, I forgot the name, but if you probably put in the Ratchet, it'll pop up. He was saying the same thing, that these switches are kind of fragile. And I did see one on eBay with a kind of a crack, like pieces missing of the switch. And I'm like, how did that happen? If it's kind of close to the body, these parts here, did someone use it as a hammer and it fell apart? Don't know. Okay, here is the head. Pretty thick. The walls here, not bad. I think this is 72 teeth. It's pretty fine. You look at the teeth here, they are pretty fine. Here is the pawl and the spring. The spring has little prongs and they fit inside the hole there. You see this little chamfered edge here that goes against the wall of the mechanism there, housing, and the two prongs and spring go on the 90-degree edge there, not this little cutout edge here. That one goes, like I said, against the mechanism. And here's a look at the pawl. It's a basic Facom design, identical to a lot of other Facoms. Simple. Here is the housing. Looks pretty good, not bad. The ball detent there. And to put this back together, just take your spring, put it in the hole. Remember what I said about the chamfered side of the pawl goes on this side of, against the wall here of the mechanism. And you just drop this in. I'm going to drop it in with the anvil opposite the Williams, like that. And now you just take your little protrusion and you want to get it at the bottom of the spring, like that. Take your screw and screw that in. Make sure it's switching. And you don't want to go too, you don't want to torque it down too much, because then this design, a lot of times when you torque it down, you're gonna get a heavier back drag. So I would torque it down okay, a decent amount, and then just kind of loosen it up a little bit. If you want to keep the screw from coming out, put some thread locker on it, and that should help with that. But yeah, that's it with this design. It's just a Williams looking, well, classic looking Williams, but it's not the classic design innards. This is a fake cam, and it seems pretty good. It seems pretty smooth. Don't know, the teeth look pretty fine to me. Don't know if I would put a lot of stress on something like this, even though the pawl did have a lot of teeth on it. But the teeth look a little fine. I wouldn't use any grease on this. I would use fine oil or thin oil, and I would keep that pawl lubricated as it needs to slide back and forth to switch. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, and while I was in there, is that this does have an O-ring on this side, and it looks like there was a channel for an O-ring on this side, even though this one didn't come with an O-ring. But I suspect from the factory that they did have an O-ring on the switch cap also. So there you go. That's my overview and review of the Williams B52A USA Ratchet from Williams, a la Snap-on. Okay guys, until next time.